Matilda. Yes. I think throughout, like, later in the video, somebody, like, one of our other friends just walks through the space and starts talking. That's why the audio's off, because it just gets weird. But Matilda's so funny. She's just...
Is that the dog?
Yeah, she's my dog.
Wouldn't you love to read her brain?
Yeah.
She's thinking.
She is like, what is going
She's
on?
clearly thinking. Doesn't know what she likes to do. Is that a multi-purpose space?
Yeah, so I have, it's my gallery. I have the Vanderelli Room, which is on the west side. It's a gallery and event space. So, yeah, we've been doing these painting sessions together with these two particular dancers. So, yeah. Yeah. I just love that she just sits there and watches it. It's so funny. Sometimes she gets up close to them and like wants a pet.
Does the dog inspire you?
She is a piece of work. Yes, I would say, yeah, she's 3.5. So she's very high energy. She's like not she's not touch motivated or food motivated. She just wants to play all the time, engaging that way. She's not a snuggler, which is sad. She's kind of like a cat in a lot of ways. You want her, and then she's like, nah, and I'll just like walk away from you. I think she's part Pyrenees, and I think that that's part of their breed. They just are like always looking to make sure everybody's safe. So she just wants to like always guard the perimeter and play all the time, pretty much.
She'd be a good pilot dog.
Yeah, she's very smart. I've had fun dyeing her since she's white, and one of my friends will like, she does like the dog dyes, and so she'll get like these crazy colorful tails sometimes. It's really pretty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, one time she did do her ears too. But hey. Hello.
Does she like to paint?
No. No, she just wants to play. That's really about it. She sometimes, like initially when we first started the session, she would be like a little more confused about what was going on, but she's relaxed a little bit. And when we're outside doing the sessions, she tries to play with them while they're in the yard. So, yeah. Thank you for everything. It really has been. I've been there like nine years. October is my 9th year of exhibitions over there. But it's all coming to an end. It makes me sad.
To reminisce, how did Vanderelli Room start?
And I'll probably talk more about this, but I needed housing, and it was available to rent to live in, even though it wasn't zoned for housing, completely probably illegal. But yeah, so I moved in, and some of my friends, because this was like the living room, and some of my friends kind of talked to me, and they were like, you should do a gallery. And I was like, I think maybe I will. And then, yeah, and then tried it out, and people kept coming back, so, yeah. I do. They're ready to develop the property, so I'll be moving out at the end of the year. I'm doing like a New Year's Eve party, and then that's it. Not yet, but I think I'm just, it's too much to try to like think about because I have so many other events and things happening. I just like don't want to like hurt like that yet. So I just like haven't really thought about it. Something will happen. I tend to pivot like every decade into like a different thing. So. Yeah, so they're doing a dance called contact movement, and it's a newer type of art of movement, I guess. They don't break connection, so they're like touching the whole time that they're moving through the space and experimenting with leverage and trust, as we talked about a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting to see, to be able to try to draw them or paint them while they're doing this. And I don't know, it reminds me of like spider. It's very arachnid, you know, the way that they move with each other. Yep, yep, that's me. Yeah, I pulled a couple videos because some of the paintings are in a hallway, so we pulled some of the paintings to look at, and this one is in the slideshow, so it kind of helps you understand what you're looking at in the painting. Yeah, I think that they get together and then just kind of start it. Yeah. I think they experiment too with like going into spaces where people are like and doing that around them. I think that that's something else that they experiment with too. I'm in an artist residency with one of the movement people. So that's how we met, and then they let us in to draw them and paint them during their session. So it's really neat. We plan on like doing a open to the public present like experience, exhibiting like the artwork that we've made with them, and they're having them perform as well.
Hi.
Hi.
Why don't I introduce you so they know who
Oh
you
no,
are?
we're just chit-chatting a little bit
This
as
is not
everybody
the artist.
can.
I'm just kidding. No, this is the artist. So silly. Welcome. My name is Kimberly Goodman. I'm the executive director here at the McConnell Arts Center. Are some of our friends, are these new friends that we haven't seen here before? Thank you for coming. This is wonderful to have you. I'm so glad you're here. I have to give thanks to the City of Worthington, who generously supports all that we do here, and Cliff Wiltshire at Worthington Spotlight is a sponsor of this series. A little bit just housekeeping. There are restrooms on every level of this building. We are here by ourselves today. We are typically closed to the public on Mondays, so it's just us. It's nice. And I want to remind you, this Wednesday we have another iteration of lifelong learning, and that will be David Cohen, who will be talking about his book where he interviewed World War II veterans, and his book is on sale in the lobby. Next week, we also have a double header. We have a Monday and a Wednesday, so make sure you mark your calendars. If you wouldn't mind filling out the survey, that helps us greatly when we're thinking about programming for future semesters of this. And this Friday evening, in this theater, we are bringing a pianist all the way from Havana, Cuba. So Aldo Lopez Gavilan is a pianist that I connected with through my work with Jazz Arts Group previously, and I did 2 trips to Cuba with folks from Columbus, and I'm doing it again this January. So this week, all of those folks are gonna meet here at the MAC for a concert. I'm renting a 9-foot Steinway for Aldo on this beautiful stage, so I hope you can join us. And let me introduce our guests. So Alicia Jean Vanderelli, AJ. Born in California, raised in Florida, came to Columbus in 2003, correct? received a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, from CCAD in 2014, and then in 2014 opened the Vanderelli Room. So we thought she would be such a wonderful speaker because after we're done here, we're going to talk about her art. She's going to show some images and some videos, and then we're going to go into the gallery and see her works there. And the best part about that is you can ask her all of those questions. My question, I always have two questions for artists. How do you know when a piece is done? And how do you choose the name? So I'll ask those when we get to the gallery. So welcome, AJ.
Hey. Thanks, everyone. So I'm Alicia Jean, AJ Vanderelli. Yeah, so my art journey has been long. I'm 48 years old. I started making art when I was little, like we all do, and really honed in on painting while I was in high school. It was a way my art teacher kind of took me in because my life was so chaotic, and she helped me focus through art, and through that, it helped me realize how important creating is for the soul. So yeah, so I did that, graduated high school from Florida, moved to Columbus, Ohio. The first time, I've actually lived here twice. The first time I moved here was in 1996. I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, where my dad's family's from, and then came over here to visit some friends from Florida that I knew, and then ended up moving here. Stayed here for like a year and a half, then went down to Atlanta, studied tattoo because I'm really into tattoos. I enjoy collecting artwork, so tattoo is a way for me to do that. And because I'm an artist, I was like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. I should be a tattooist because I love tattoos. But the culture isn't my culture. I didn't really fit in very well with that type of lifestyle. So moved away from Atlanta, then moved back to Columbus in 2003, and then decided I should go back to school. At this point, I was, late 20s, decided to go back to school to get my BFA and focus on painting, which is a deep love of mine. So CCAD was a very instrumental in my social growth as an artist. I would say, yes, like learning the techniques. I was self-taught mostly up to that point, so it was cool to like learn different mediums, I guess, but I was kind of already stuck in the way that I paint by that point. But the professors at CCAD really helped me navigate this city and find those little art pockets where I would fit in. So I was instructed to check out Milo Arts, which is, it's a live workspace off of Cleveland Avenue, kind of close to where Fort Hayes is. So Milo Arts, lots of artists live there. It's like community style living where you have shared bathrooms, you have shared, showers. People have like cookouts together. They visit each other's studios and check out their work. And, it's a level up from like, I guess like a dorm style living, which I never participated in. So it really just like opened up how important community is for me. Spending time in that way with people, intimately talking about their work. And it helped my creative growth a lot at that point. And then I got derailed because then I was in my 30s and thought I was supposed to get married and have babies. So I was gonna go to grad school at Indiana University, Bloomington, and then instead I decided to get married. And then kind of that lasted about 4 years, and then I just like, couldn't do it anymore. Lost my mind, rented a room from somebody for a little while, and then this space, 218 McDowell Street, opened up, and it was 3,000 square feet, and it's super affordable. And so I moved in, and then I moved in May of 14, and then in October of 14, I had my first exhibition. So I decided at that point, collectively with friends. This isn't anything I could do on my own. I think it's really important to utilize the people around us because we uplift each other. It's better to do it together than it is, solo. So spending a lot of time with my friends, talking about what that would look like. I looked things up on the internet. What is an alternative gallery space? How can you have a gallery and actually live in the space at the same time? And through my research, I found people were doing gallery spaces in one room in their apartment. And people would wait in line to go see this little teeny tiny exhibition in somebody's apartment. I was like, you could do it anywhere. So I got really excited about that, had my first exhibition. I would say the way to start something, to get people to come over, you need to have a lot of people involved. So what I decided to do is reach out to the artists in this community that I respected at the time, really enjoyed their work, and invited them to be in a group show at my new place. The very first exhibition was a group show. It went really well, and then everybody kept coming back. So I built there's a stage in this space, so it's been really great. I've been doing that for 9 years. And as far as my own personal work, the creative, having my gallery is like having a dollhouse that you can change constantly. Fill it with stuff, take the stuff away, put up walls, take walls down. So every time that's been my creative outlet, I would say, for 9 years. And so my personal paintings and stuff, my personal work, the alone time, studio work has kind of been pushed to the side for the last 9 years. So it's been an honor to be in McConnell Arts Center, to actually have my work. People know me in this community from having my gallery. They don't really know what I do. So, the last, year and a half, we booked this exhibition here with 2 artists that I completely love and respect. And my personal work tends to focus on what's around me. So I do a lot of plein air work. So I love sitting outside and painting what I'm looking at. I love people. I want to spend time with you. I want to sit in front of you and paint you. So a lot of my work in here, throughout the years, I don't have a lot of time to spend outside of curating exhibitions or cleaning the gallery, because I'm doing all of it. It's me. I'm mopping the floors, repainting the walls. So these moments that I get with you are really important to me. So I'll sit behind the gallery with one of my friends and have coffee with them and paint them for the hour I have, right? So I think what fuels me is you. My community is really important to me, and my paintings tend to reflect people that I see in my community and get to spend time with. The other part of my work, which you'll see, I like to do a lot of collage work or assemblages. I collect all these weird things, and I forgot my bag of trinkets, but just things you find everywhere, little plastic toys, or you're looking around at the ground and you see a piece of metal that has a weird bend to it. I just collect all these little things, marbles, and then I assemble them, and they tend to take on characteristics of people I know, which is really weird. Even though it doesn't look like a figure, it feels like them. So even with these little abstract boxes that I'm repurposing, the cigar boxes that I've repurposed into these little environments tend to represent people from my life or situations that have happened. What else? Yeah, we can look through a couple of the pieces that, yeah. So, for instance, another style, I paint people while they're performing. So this particular painting is a drum circle that happened in my gallery for this event called Make Jazz Not War. And we started that event with a drum circle, and I had my canvas set up, I had everything set up, and like more people kept coming and adding to this drum circle. I kept having to move all my stuff back, like further back, further back, further. I was like, I don't even know how this is gonna work out, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And this gentleman, I wish I could remember his name, in the white, he's an elder, and you know, shared so much. Like there was like a time where everything went still, and he just talked for like 15 minutes and talked about music and how important music is to combat like war. It was really beautiful. I think one of the things he said is what it is, what it was, and what it will be. And that just resonates in me like every day. I think about that. I think it's, you know, and talking about the trees and like how if you look at a tree, do you just see the tree or do you see the roots with the tree? It's really important to see it all, like see the whole thing, because it's all connected. I don't know, it just blows my mind, I love it. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this painting. And then there's a little video that I took some video, like when I do this, I try to record some of it. So this is part of it so you can like feel the vibe. Yeah, so on October 17th, we're doing like a, what's it called? I forget. A gallery experience, which will open with a lot of the people in this drum circle. So we're gonna have a drum circle at 6. Just something about just get you. Sorry if you're feeling seasick. Drums, they make me weep and give me chills at the same time. It's like, oh, just like, and while we were, actually, Marcus Blackwell is another artist in this exhibition that's currently up. And Marcus was here that day too, and we talked a lot about conjuring roots, which is the theme of the exhibition, and how we like felt it. We were like, yeah, like this is exactly why we decided to call the exhibition Conjuring Roots, because that's what, you know, the three of us, Rob Jones, Marcus, and myself have done, we feel, for this exhibition. Pretty neat, right? More drummers and more drummers. Oh, we can probably go to the next slide. Yeah, so so this is more my figurative work. So the the other painting was like a lot of motion. I think I have a knack for capturing atmosphere. I'm gonna give myself a little props there, not to be like an egomaniac, but I feel like I can do that effectively. And it translates through all the styles of my work, whereas like the last piece like was like more expressionism. This one, I really try to make it look like them. And when I'm creating these particular paintings, I'm trying to do it within 2 hours. We have a live model on Sundays. So we have the model sit and I try to like finish an oil painting within those parameters. This particular day, our model sat outside, and so we just picked up like elements, like the thing that she's sitting on, another artist made. He was an arborist and an artist, so he made this beautiful bench that he put around my fire pit that we used for her to sit on. And then that globe is just a blow up, globe that we had for Earth Day. The wings that she has on, she's a burlesque performer, so she actually made those wings with a grant that she got from the GCAC. So that was really cool. And they're just massive. They're just like these huge things. So she really wanted to present those for the session, and I was very happy about that. So I really like the knee. I like the stockings. I think I did all right with the stockings. Like that part. Like this crazy thing right here. I love that.
Agent, when you're painting a figure, what are some of the most challenging? Is the face harder than the body? Is the body?
So I tend to like dive in different ways. Like I can like I think I'm kind of sculptural in the way that I paint. Like I'll like build it in from like the body maybe, or like I'll start at the face. Like for me, when I want it to look like their face, so I like spend too much time probably there, and that's probably the most challenging part, I would say. Sometimes it's like, sometimes it's hands and feet, because I want to like focus so much on the face. I'm like, oh, the hands and feet don't matter. But then like you look later and you're like, oh, I should have spent a little more time there, Yeah. What's the what made out of? Oh, the wings. The wings are made out of. I think it felt like almost like a leather. It was like a thicker material that it kind of looked like leather, I think. Felt like leather, but it moved. It was able to move in the wind. Yeah. It was really windy that day too. We could go to the next slide. Yeah, so the abstract stuff that I do it is because of jazz. That's why. Experimental, like I have a group of friends that used to perform in the gallery before the shutdown. And Gerard Cox, who's a musician in Columbus and a promoter, he started this venue within the gallery called Filament, and they focused on avant-garde jazz. So that was like really my first introduction to the process of jazz. And like, outside of performances, people would get together and freeform, and like work together in this way. And I was really like, one day after an event, this is how this all ended up happening with me doing this abstract stuff, because I'm not like I'm a figurative person. So I was talking with bassist Mario Bosca and said, I am so jealous of musicians because they can occupy the same space at the same time, whereas me as a painter, I cannot do it. Like, how do you put your brush? Like, I just can't get there. Like, my mind won't let me. And he was like, oh, would you like to collaborate? I was like, whoa, I don't even know what that would look like. And at the time I ended up, when we did collaborate, I got this big, which is in the gallery, you'll see it, this 4x8 piece of plexiglass, and I had affixed it to the wall. He was beside me playing his bass, and every time I pressed on the plexiglass or stuck my paintbrush in the water, I made a sound. And I was like, what? Like, I am participating and I didn't even know it. And so then it just like opened everything up, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do these collaborations, because then it's like this free form. I don't have to like, I'm like painting sound, right? Or like working with the sound. I'm participating in the music, I guess. So this piece, I've recently reconnected with that side of me, because I haven't spent time with these guys since we had the shutdown. And now they're performing together over at Old First Presbyterian Church on the east side. So I've been going there like Wednesdays and spending time with them and reconnecting to that side of me where I can just like explore and not have to worry about the outcome, right? So, you know, like this particular day, I forgot everything I needed except for my paint. And I didn't even have a paintbrush. I'm like, how did I do this? And then I didn't want to make a mess, so I just like used the tubes of paint as the brush. So I just like, you know, pounded on there, tap it, and like the drum of the canvas participated with the sound. So that was really neat. And then the next slide, I actually have some video or audio video to go with this particular one. This piece started out as a figure session of our model Athena, and I don't know, I decided to bring it to the jazz thing to play with it, because I just like wasn't 100% settled on it. So she was in a reclining pose. You can kind of see, like her head is like right here, kind of goes like that. In the beginning of the video, you can actually see the painting on the floor before I touched it for this session. But we could go to that. Yeah. Sorry, it's so moving. And then Gerard shows up with his trumpet. Jazz, like, it blows my mind, because right when you like catch a rhythm or something, then it just blows up, and you know, then you're like, oh, you're reaching around for the tangible. I think with, you know, avant-garde kind of jazz, you're like, where is it? Where is it? I don't know. That's how I feel. How do you feel? With the Athena painting, I did the same technique with the stippling, but with a lot more paint. I think I blew through like 8 tubes. A lot. I used a lot of paint on that one. I just like squeeze it like that. The question is, do I use acrylic or oil? And I primarily use oil paint, although sometimes I'll use acrylic, but I'm not as proficient with acrylic. I feel like I scumble more, which scumbling is like you end up with a dry brush, You know, like the oil, I need it to stay softer longer because I like to do a lot of mixing on the surface. So I'll like squeeze the tubes out. I mix more on the surface than I do like on a palette, right? Yeah. So I find I don't have enough time if I'm playing with acrylic. But when I do play with acrylic, I like to put them in the squeeze tubes, like the ketchup and mustard type tubes, and then you just like sling it around. It's pretty fun. Yeah. Unfortunately, the angle, you can't really see how I'm applying things. It was a terrible angle, but. Yeah. Yeah, it turned out to be, you know, that they hear what I'm doing and then can react to that. So it's so interesting. And I think like some of the sessions where I use clear plexi is really fun because then the audience can participate with me more instead of me being like behind like a canvas. If I have like a plexi, you see me the whole time until I paint myself out. So you get more interaction, which is pretty fun. I've done it with that heavy plastic that you use for painting houses or whatever. If you're doing drywall, you put the plastic in between, or like Dexter probably used it in his. Yeah, so I've built like rooms like that where I'm actually like I can sling paint around and it doesn't go anywhere else. It just stays within like the four walls or whatever, which is pretty neat. It's hard to describe. I guess I should have added that video.
You said you changed that painting because it didn't feel settled with the figures.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that more?
Yeah, I feel like it just it didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to waste. I would say I didn't want to waste the moment that I had with the model because I really did enjoy the color and the shape of her, but I would have like if I didn't bring it to this, I think it would have I would have painted over it completely instead of exploring how to maybe have her movement through, because she's a belly dancer too. So I don't know if that maybe that all plays into it. That's a good question. Yeah. Yes, Wallace.
Yeah, I got a favor I want to ask you.
Okay.
Do you paint Alan Jackson or Golf Brooks?
Do I paint Garth Brooks?
Yeah,
I have not. And who is Alan Jackson?
yeah.
I have not painted either one of them.
I didn't know. I just asked.
Yeah, that would be cool though. If they invited me to paint them while they performed, I would absolutely do that.
Your piece of paper?
Do you know them?
Yes.
What? All right, we're gonna connect after this, Wallace. Wallace Peck is famous, so it's true. That guy, he is. Okay, any other questions? Wait, we could go to the next slide. I think isn't there? Yeah, there's more. Yeah, I really like this painting a lot. Hannah wanted to model for us one session. She doesn't model usually. She's an activist in Columbus, an advocate, mainly activist. So she was pretty vocal during the protests, and my gallery actually was able to help bring a lot of supplies and stuff down to people. So we had like a whole, since I had to shut down, we were able to keep medical supplies on hand because I'm really close to downtown. So Hannah was also involved in that. And, I enjoyed it. She's got like a sadness to her, and it gives me a little chills. I don't know. Yeah, a little bit of hope. She's an artist as well. I think she just started exhibiting work again after needing some time off. So I don't really know what else to say about this one except for I love like the magic of it, and that there's like a little bit of sadness too, but it feels hopeful. I don't know. It's like all those things. How do you feel when you look at it? Yeah. It's like dreams are coming true, maybe, or there is a hope of, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Have you ever used to being the greatest artist of a mega talent of all time?
He's asking if you're the greatest artist of all the time.
The greatest artist of all the time. I think like if I'm understanding your question correctly, I don't feel like I'm the greatest artist of all time. I'm just trying to hopefully, just keep trying.
I do this all the time because I worked on it. I created it, I painted it, down and made a slice, made statues. I used to be on TV.
You were on TV? That's awesome.
I was on Broadway.
You were on Broadway. That's great. Yeah. You're on the Spectrum? Is that what you said? Yeah. Spectrum News. Oh, Spectrum News. Okay. That's cool. Are you showing off right now? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, you've done.
I wrote those letters. This is anything. So I gave them the copies for my staff teachers so that I could become anything.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's good stuff. That's all good stuff. I was told that they're going to have me on Broad and High soon, since we're bringing that up, sir. But I'll be doing the quick bites, and I'm going to make cookies. So it's not about my art. It's about these chocolate cookies I love so much. Yes.
I also read about you in Columbus Monthly magazine. They had a little article. I don't remember how long ago it was, but you might want to tell the audience.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the Columbus. I should have refreshed my memory. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of press through the gallery, so a lot of the exhibitions do get publicized for things that I've done. I guess, okay, so I was on the cover of the 614 magazine in 2018, I think, or 2019, which was an honor. And they do the 3 issues, or they did at that time. And one of the other people was the president of OSU. So I was like, what? How am I in this run with this amazing person? The other guy was like a Crocodile Dundee guy. Like he's like some famous YouTuber that does like nature shows or something. And I was like, how in the world is this happening? One of the exhibitions that I did curate that may have been the Columbus Monthly, was it maybe 2017? Was it after the election?
I thought it was after COVID, because it was talking about your Vanderelli Room. It was talking about your gallery, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up and bring it for
Gosh,
you.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the exhibitions that did, I think, bring a lot of attention to the gallery was in 2017, the beginning of 2017. It was after the election, and I curated a neighborhood-wide exhibition where I had different gallery spaces in Franklinton participate, did a huge call for art that talked about what we were going through with that. And it's called The P Grabs Back. I'm not gonna say what the P word is, everybody already knows probably. Each space had its own, it was like, well, the actual exhibition, nationwide or neighborhood exhibition was called silence is death. And then each venue had its own sub name, like Locker Room Talks. My gallery was the P Grabs Back. I forget the other ones, but like that, being that the whole neighborhood of creatives came together, and we had performance, we had, video, we covered every genre of the arts to talk about the way that we were feeling after the election. And we didn't sell a lot of art, but the fact that we were able to use our voices, and it did get a lot of press, and that was really great. So, art is so important. Art is so important. That's, for everything. We're the innovators. We are changing the world. Any other questions? Wait, we could go to the next one, right? Yeah, so when you guys walked in, the video that was playing of the two contact movement performers, this is one of the paintings that came out of that. So you can see the two people kind of with the legs like splayed in the air. So for that particular day, like I was painting in the foreground on the video. I'm sure you saw, we could go probably to that video again. And like I worked on 3 paintings. Yeah, all 3 are here, but they're kind of in a weird spot. So if you have mobility issues, that's why we like have those paintings included here. So I tend to like roll. I do a lot of mixing on the canvas. Just like squirt the paint on there sometimes, and then just roll it around. Because oil, like, it'll mud out if you don't. Yes, Wallace?
How long have you been doing that?
Probably 32 years. Gosh,
That's a lot of years.
it's a long time. It's a lot of years for sure. But when I first started going to college, just before I decided to go to CCAD, I did like community college here and there, depending on where I lived, and focused more on poetry. So I wanted to be a poet, and then I felt redundant. I feel like there's more of a language through visual art than I'm just not articulate enough. I don't have a vast vocabulary, I think, to really feel confident in that. So,
is that what you're doing?
Yeah. And that's my dog, Matilda. She likes to hang out with us while we make art. Actually, she's not happy about it. She just wants to be outside. Yeah, so I'm currently in an artist residency program through Gravity, which is Gravity is a Kaufman development property that they have built on the west side, like West Broad Street and up McDowell Street. So with this residency, it's like they provide housing for 4 people. So myself, Marcus Blackwell, who's on the couch, who's also in this show, and then one of the dancers, Jackie, she's also in the residency, and then Hakeem Callwood is another artist in the residency. So we're like in this residency for 6 months. We're coming toward the end of it. It's like I think it's over in December. But we met Jackie because she's from North Carolina. So she came here for the residency, which it's been wonderful to get to know her and spend time with her in this way. It's been a great experience.
I like what she did.
Yeah. It's so neat, isn't it?
So between curating and cleaning and everything that goes into a gallery, how often do you get to paint?
Well, Sundays. On Sundays I paint because I host figure painting. So that's how I've been able to keep up on my practice. So other than that, like, well, we started working with Jackie and Emma on Fridays. So Fridays, we spend a little time in the morning and kind of loosen up and make art together. And then the Sundays are every Sunday. I've been doing that. You know, I took some time off, like, for like three years, I want to say. I had someone else host figure painting because I was like, I need to, like, at least have one day where I'm not working at the gallery. So I stepped away for a while, but then I, you know, realizing, oh, I can take Mondays and Tuesdays off. So I just take Mondays and Tuesdays off, and then I can paint on Sundays again. So yeah, but I think even though I'm sad that, you know, the gallery's running its course at 218, I look forward to spending some more time in the studio and actually, like, you know, because, like, to process everything, you know, my life is like, okay, right now we're going to go do this, and then next, you know, I've got to do this, and I have to think about this other thing before this event happens, and then, you know, take out the trash, and then, you know, like, I feed my dog, and then I'm like, and there's, like, no real time to think and process, and I think that that's really important, is to meditate and have those times. The Sunday painting really helps, and this is all like the same. So, you know, I look forward to kind of more time like that, or just managing my time better.
Maybe for the Vanderelli Room, what would you say? You mentioned a project earlier that was really meaningful. Is there another event, project, special thing that you did there that you will always hold in your heart? That was amazing.
Yeah, there are a few really great experiences. I'd say in 2017, for my birthday, we had a puppet show in the gallery because I really like puppets. They're so cool. Like, growing up, I remember in our mall, we had, like, a little puppet guy, and, like, they'd do, like, a little theater session on whatever day it was. I can't, like, over the weekend or something. So I love puppets. Some people I know are puppet people. They're like, let's do a puppet variety show. So we, like, built, like, a stage that looked like a puppet stage for puppets, and, like, but for adults or adult-sized people. And I'd say that that was, like, one of the really beautiful moments and fun, and just, like, being able to reconnect with the kids side. I'd say, you know, I'd mentioned, you know, being able to help with, you know, the social justice issues. The gallery is really, it's been super affordable. The owner has kept my rent so low. And so, that being said, I don't have to charge for every event. I don't have to look at artwork and go, is it gonna sell? You know, I can just exhibit what's real, in my opinion, what I'm feeling, and not worry about the collector, right? So I lost my train of thought a little bit, but being able to, yeah, provide the space for grassroots organizations at no cost has been just invaluable. It's really great. I think just the space itself is, like, so community focused, and I think, you know, my time at Milo helped kind of help me understand how important it is to share with everybody. Like, we're sharing everything. To share, you know, that's the best part, I think, is, you know, just all the people coming through. What am I gonna do next? Next weekend? I think we'll have the closing. So the current exhibition I have up in the gallery is a collaboration with the Bee Collective. And the Bee Collective puts beehives in urban spaces. And the artwork is a piece of art. So I have a piece in it too. The piece of art was placed in a beehive, and the bees built on top of the piece. And it is just so cool. So you guys are definitely gonna have to stop by. It closes on the 30th, And I do gallery hours Wednesday through Saturday from 11 to 3. So if you're around, I suggest checking out this exhibition. I think it's one of the best visually. I didn't curate it. Luke Howard from the Bee Collective is the one that actually curated it. I just said, looks great. And it does. It looks amazing. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing next weekend. I think that's next weekend is the 30th. Yeah, probably. They have not known each other very long, though. I think just a few months they've been working together. Because one of them is from North Carolina and one is from South Carolina. I grew up in Panama City, Florida, which is north on the Gulf Coast. Yeah. Where are you from? Where's that? Oh, Charleston, West Virginia? Yeah, West Virginia is beautiful. It is. Yes, sir. You're from Dayton? Yeah, I like Dayton. There's a lot of great artists in Dayton. You're from Columbus? OH. Any other questions? At the gallery space? Like, what do you? Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought about squatting, but I don't think that's I was like, will they even notice? I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, not to say too much, but like the space. So at the beginning of the year is when I was told that it was, I had until the end of the year. But then, the property owner actually just passed away, so I don't even know what's going to happen if they're going to develop the property. I imagine, it'll just probably get sold or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not too. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's heavy to think about, just because, it really has been so much fun and a lot of work, but it really a lot of fun, I think.
What is Franklinton? Every time I go there, it looks different.
Yes.
In 10 years, can you just talk for a few minutes about the change?
Gosh, yeah, it has been. And I think that's why it's easier for me not to be so out of sorts about it, because there have been these gigantic changes over the last 10 years, knocking down buildings and then building new ones. I'm really sad about it. I think that it, hopefully it maintains some grit, because I feel like, with the arts, we need that instead of, sterilizing everything. I'm personally am very concerned about that, with the gentrification. The cost of spaces have gone up substantially, and a lot of artists that I've been friends with for years are priced out. I was lucky enough that, he didn't raise my rent, but he raised everybody else's rent, like in some cases 3 times. One of my friends who he had been in had a studio space. He's a 75-year-old abstract painter. He's amazing. And he was in his studio space for over a decade, and they priced him out. His studio rent was roughly, let's say, $475, $420. No, it was $425. They raised it to like $900, and the space was like under 400 square feet. And granted, the light is amazing. I loved that studio so much, but it's really sad. It's a very emotional time, and seeing the changes, it's pretty hard, but the beauty in what we do is that we are able to pivot. You can't get hung up on the details, just find something else, So, I don't know. This is sad. There does. I know. You know, the great thing about Franklinton that I've enjoyed the whole time is that, like, you have so many artists condensed in one space. So, you know, it's easy to borrow things. It's easy to talk through things. It's, you know, everybody's so accessible to each other. And, you know, we did a lot of work to build that community up, you know. And over in so I got a studio space in 400 West Rich at the end of 2011, and then moved into the other space, this space, in 2014. So I've been over there for a while, over a decade. I've loved it. I've loved it. It's been a lot of fun. You know, I think, you know, it could be just done a little better. That's all. Yep, that's me painting.
The artists who've left, where have they headed toward one part of town or another?
Wait, repeat that, I'm sorry.
The artists who have left this
Yes.
Franklinton area, where did they go?
Okay, so the artists who have left. I do know some artists have found studio spaces in other locations of Columbus, which unfortunately, it just like drives me crazy because like people I would see every day and get to talk to, I no longer see them. But I know that they are working, so that's good. You know, we're collectively artists, you know, like the Ohio Art League and organizations really are trying to find a space that we can grow into and own, right? So I don't know how that's going to happen, but other artists that I know that have been priced out are trying to figure out how we can do that. Like what side of town? Like you want a space to be accessible for people from all sides. So you know, yeah. So but Central is just out of the question. I mean, there's like nothing that would be affordable. Yeah. So you know, it's something that we're trying to problem solve. You know, I'm currently open. You know, I have people in my life that are always looking for properties. I was told potentially I could have a new property in about a year and a half. So, you know, hopefully, but it wouldn't be utilized this way because that particular property isn't like an open floor plan. So then it's like, okay, well, how do we make it something that still has the same kind of effect on people? Because, you know, having exhibition space is really important, or having a space that can be anything, I think is the key. You know, you want to wow people when they come in, at least from, you know, they're like, wow, I've never seen it look like this before. You know, that's, I think, is the best way. So hopefully that, I don't know. It is a really good question. It makes me sad about the artists.
So you're working 3 fictions
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and each one carries a little, you know, the image that we showed before, which would be the piece that's closest to me right now, that tends to look more like them, you know, in like a still, whereas like that piece is more abstract in like, I call that, it makes me think of hair, like the way that their hair is like spilling everywhere. So it has all that motion. And then the other one, the third piece, which you don't really see, has like more of an essence. Like I feel like it's more of like the aura of, if that makes sense, like the embodies like the feeling of the space rather than what I'm looking at. So they all three are like a little different. In the,
I'll tell you one issue. Do you need help with some pictures? Oh, my help you.
do I need help? I'm gonna have to come over and visit you over at Open Door again soon. I'd love to. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do it though. I'm gonna have more time after December. Yep, facts. We can. Yeah, let's do it.